If we had to sum up Bluey in just a few words, they'd definitely be play, adventure, and most importantly, fun. But there's also a fourth word, magic.
Who taught you how to use magic?
Have you noticed all the scenes where magic really happens in Bluey's universe? The best example that the world of our little blue dog can truly be magical happens in Season 1 in the episode Fairies. At the very end, we see an actual magical creature appear. Throughout the episode, we witness all kinds of magical chaos happening in the healer household, like tails being tied up, stickers stuck to fur, and furniture flipped over. They all know someone must upset the fairies. That someone is Bandit, and to stop the mischief caused by these magical beings, he has to dance outside the house and apologize to Bingo. But here's the twist. Everything magical in the episode, so far, was actually orchestrated by Bluey and Chili. Until, at the very end, Bingo walks into the house and to everyone's surprise, sees a real pink fairy assembling the domino heart again. Without a doubt, this is the first definitive proof that magical beings and powers exist in Bluey's world, but it's certainly not the only one. Today, we'll show you plenty of other magical moments in Bluey, so grab your popcorn because another episode of Cinewave is starting. Another character who seems to have magical powers in Bluey is the puppy's teacher, Calypso. Everyone knows the episode Space, where Mackenzie is playing a space adventure game with Jack and Rusty. However, the little border collie keeps pretending to be abandoned by his friends. That's because, deep down, he's dealing with the trauma of feeling like his mom abandoned him at the park, despite knowing it didn't actually happen. The magical moment comes when Mackenzie suddenly has a vision of that day at the park, and out of nowhere, Calypso appears to talk to him. This moment feels magical because Bluey's teacher seems to have the ability to travel through time, as well as read Mackenzie's mind and understand his past experiences. In fact, she guides the young border collie on how to overcome his problem, which he successfully does. So it leaves us wondering, could Calypso have even more magical powers? That's why we decided to dig a little deeper. There's another moment where Calypso appears to help one of her students, this time Coco. In the episode, Coco invites Indy and Chloe to play Wild Girls, a game about girls who live in the forest and hunt a wild boar named Winton. Unfortunately, both Indy and Chloe grow tired of the game because it never changes. They abandon Coco to join another adventure. This leaves the little poodle feeling very upset, and once again, Calypso suddenly appears out of nowhere to explain that games need to evolve so everyone can enjoy them. Interestingly, when Calypso shows up during Coco's vision, the show adds a magic sound effect,
Coco, that's some sad howling,
right as she appears, making it clear that this is no ordinary moment. This confirms it. Calypso definitely has more magical powers beyond just reading minds and traveling through time. She can also teleport, or at least that's what it looks like. So we all know most people have had dreams about things like flying. That's nothing too magical. But being able to enter someone else's dream? Now that's definitely something supernatural. So when Bingo and Bluey shared the same dream about running through Bandit's body while in space during the episode Sleepy Time, something truly magical was happening. In fact, this is literally one of the most magical moments in the entire history of the series. But that wasn't the only time. Maybe the entire Healer family has this power to share dreams because in the episode Fruit Bat, Bluey starts flying like the bat she dreams of becoming. She even flies past Mackenzie's house, and out of nowhere, she enters Bandit's dream, where he's playing rugby with his friends. The two even talk about it in the dream, and it's such a fun scene to watch because it sparks the theory that maybe all the characters are connected in the same fantasy world once again. And have you ever dreamed you were flying? Comment with #fly so we can dream along with you. In episode 29 of season 3, the entire story feels like something magical is happening. It all starts with Indy making a horse out of modeling clay, but everyone thinks it's a cow. Soon, a series of magical events unfolds. Winton gains the ability to fly, develops super muscles, a horse starts talking, and Winton even shoots beams of light from his hands that allow everyone to see what he's doing. What's interesting is that when magical things like this happen in Bluey, it's usually because someone is dreaming or the puppies are playing and using their imaginations. However, in this episode, it's clear the production team added special effects to make sure everyone, both the characters and the viewers, can see beyond the imagination. In other words, this isn't just Indy imagining things, it's actual magic happening. It's also worth noting that Calypso, the teacher, is narrating the story alongside the students, suggesting this could be how they see the events unfolding. Could Calypso actually be a fairy?
You're kidding, right?
Speaking of magical powers, one of the most magical moments in the entire series happens in the very next episode. In the story Puppets, Bandit uses Unicorse to teach Bluey some table manners as she keeps chewing with her mouth open. The Healer sisters tell Unicorse that he's just a puppet controlled by Bandit, but Unicorse refuses to believe it. At the end, the puppet asks Bluey if she's absolutely sure that she isn't a puppet herself. Of course, Bluey denies being controlled by anyone. That's when a human hand suddenly appears, continuing to draw Bluey, making it crystal clear what we already know. She's a cartoon character. At the end, she even says she had a weird dream. That moment was definitely strange and almost magical. There are other almost magical moments in Bluey that make it onto our list because they're creative games played by the Healer family. For example, in the episode Feather Wand, a magical bird flies over Bingo's head and drops a super powerful feather for her. This feather has the ability to make everything it touches feel heavy, or at least that's how little Bingo imagines it. So far, so good. But what's strange is that everyone in the Healer family actually feels the objects getting heavier, even without Bingo telling them it's part of a game. Even Lucky's dad, who isn't involved in the fantasy at all, ends up under the feather's spell. In another episode, Bluey herself wields a magical asparagus that can turn people into animals, proving that the Healer family takes the concept of magical objects very seriously. In this episode, Lucky's dad once again falls victim to the Healer sisters' powers as he gets attacked by a pack of furious lionesses. Ludo Studios, the creators of Bluey, are so dedicated to imaginative play that the very first episode of the series is all about it. In Magic Xylophone, the xylophone has the power to freeze people's movements. At first, we're not entirely sure if it's genuinely magical or not. After all, it's our first introduction to the Healer family. It's only after watching the rest of the series that we realize there's no actual magic. It's all just imaginative fun. Still, it's amazing to see that in Bluey's world, play is the ultimate rule. But without a doubt, for me, the very first episode of the Little Blue Dog's adventures feels incredibly magical. What about you? And if you don't want to be stuck in the videos, subscribe and activate the notification bell. In Season 3, Episode 9, there's a story that sheds light on how magic works in Bluey's universe. Bluey is teaching her younger sister, Bingo, how to use magical powers to control people's movements. But first, she explains that Bingo has to pretend that Bluey's hand is controlling her. Interestingly, the entire Healer family seems to have this ability. In fact, it was Chili who taught Bluey how to use this spell. Both Bandit and Lucky's dad end up being controlled by the Healer sisters, which reinforces the idea that the adults in the neighborhood follow the rules of always participating in the kids' games. In this same episode, when Chili uses magic to expel Pat and Bandit from the yard, we see Lucky's dad lifting Bandit and tossing him over the fence, further proving that everyone plays along.
Oh, Bandit, get your armpit out of my face.
Also in this episode, the fight scene between Bluey and Chili is a clear nod to the wizard duel between Gandalf the Grey and Saruman the White from The Lord of the Rings. This once again highlights that there's no real magic in Bluey, but that imagination reigns supreme. There are moments in Bluey where the magic goes deeper than just a game or something mystical happening. We're talking about episodes where the entire story represents a more sentimental kind of magic, like in episode 5 of Season 3, when Bandit pretends he was born yesterday. As he creates a character who knows nothing about the world and learns everything from his daughters, Bandit stops to admire something as simple as a leaf. It's such an ordinary thing, but that's where the magic lies. He comes to appreciate the beauty of nature and realizes how much life exists within it. Still on the subject of playful moments, in the episode Fairy Tale, Bandit loses a bet to Uncle Radley and has to stay silent until someone says his name. Bandit isn't thrilled about the game since he doesn't want to stay quiet, but as we've mentioned before, games in Bluey are like unbreakable laws. This feels almost like a magical rule because anyone who knows about magical agreements knows they can't be broken. But the moment we really want to talk about is when Chili meets her future husband while they're still pups. Of course, the writers control the story, but it's magical to imagine that this is the exact moment their paths first crossed. In the spy game from Season 1, all the kids are searching for ingredients to create a potion that can control the movements of all the adults. It's funny because, technically, they already have the magic xylophone, right? But the xylophone can only freeze people in place. What's amazing is that the potion actually works. When Bingo uses it to make her parents go crazy, everything descends into chaos as the adults accidentally set the barbecue on fire. Even earlier in the episode, Mackenzie uses the potion to make Honey's mom dance. This moment is proof that not everything in Bluey is just a game. Maybe there's some real magic at play. Could it be the work of the fairies? You know what else is magical? Having you here with us, especially as we eagerly await the release of Season 4 and the movie. Until then, you can keep watching Bluey with us. We've got 2 more great videos lined up for you to watch. See you in the next one.